Hello, and welcome to the second video that I've made about using Bosworth-Toller's online Old English Dictionary. In the first video, we looked at how to use the different features available in the dictionary to help improve your search results and some of the pitfalls that you can come across. But in this video, we're going to look at how to search for a modern English word in the dictionary in case you're wanting to use it to support you doing some translation work, for example. And the way that we do that is by using the advanced search feature. There's always a link to it just to the bottom right of the main search box on all the pages in the dictionary. And if we click on that link, it takes us to the advanced search page. Before we start searching, I just want to describe the use of some of the filters on the right-hand side. Now, across the top here, you can see that there are three options: not selected, word in category, and word not in category. And what that means is that you can apply those to the word classes and volume options just below, just by clicking on them. If the button is clear like this, it means it isn't selected, and it means that generally the search will use that word class when it's looking for the word. If you click on the button once, you get the green tick, and now what it means is that it will look in that class only in the ones that have been ticked. If you click on the button a second time, you get the red cross, not in category, and what that means is it will search all of the classes except for the one that has the red cross. So in this case, it would search verbs, numerals, conjunctions, and so on. It would not look for a noun. And you can clear it by clicking on it a third time. It's a little bit annoying that you have to cycle through, but that's how you get through it. You can also have more than one selected at a time. So, for example, I could click on noun and verb, and then it would search in noun and verb, but not in adjective or preposition and so on. But I'll just clear those now, clicking twice more to get back to the blank option. And you'll notice just further down, you've got the option to filter on the volume. Now, the dictionary was originally written and then had a supplemental volume created for it. And we looked at that a little bit in the first video where we were looking at corrections to the original volume. So, for example, the deletions or amendments that were being suggested. If you happen to know which volume your word is in, or you only want to search one of the volumes, do use those options. But I generally leave them blank because I've no idea which volume the word is in that I'm looking for. So let's start a search. A search I'm going to use is dog. So I type that into the search box. And next to that, I've got a drop-down menu, and it's important to set this correctly. It's usually set to head word, and that means the word itself in the dictionary. And the dictionary, of course, is an Old English dictionary, so it's talking about an Old English word. Now, I don't know whether dog is or isn't an Old English word, but I'm looking up a modern English word. So if I click on the drop-down list, I have other options available to me, and what I'm going to choose is definitions and translations. What that means is it's going to search for the word dog in the definitions and translations. Definition is the bit of text that describes what the head word means, and the translation are those example sentences that are provided for a lot of the words in the dictionary that we looked at. Sometimes they're in Latin, you might remember. So I'll choose definitions and translations, and then I'll click on search. And if I scroll down a little bit, I've got 33 results. The first is this word dodger, and then we've got fire dog, we've got walwhelp, which is a killing dog or hunting dog, we've got dog rose, and so on and so forth. So that's quite a few words to have to look through. What I can do is narrow that down by using some of the filters. Now, actually, as it happens, the dog that I was thinking of is a verb, as in the phrase to dog someone's footsteps. So I'm going to tick verb. I click once and I get the green tick. And just underneath, you'll see that I've now got some more options for filtering on verbs if I want them. I might know that the verb I'm looking for is weak or strong or a preterite present, and so I can use these options down here to filter even further. I'm just going to leave them for the moment and click search again to refresh the results. I've now got 9 results and they're all verbs, but they're looking a little bit strange. The first one, for example, in aberran, is to bring in, which doesn't seem to have much to do with dogging someone's footsteps. And we can see that the reason that this has come up in the search is that the example, one of the example sentences under in aberran includes the word dog in it. So this is where it's been looking in the definition and translations. So let's get rid of that problem. Let's go back up to this drop-down box and just choose definition on its own. Again, click the search to refresh your results. And now we've only got 3 verbs. So these are verbs which include the word dog in their definitions. And they're looking a little bit odd. The first one, ymidlian, means to bridle. The second one of slitan means to wound by bite, e.g. of a dog. And snuthian is to go as a dog with its nose to the ground, so like snuffle along. Well, none of those are really what I'm looking for. None of those mean dog someone's footsteps. So this is not being very successful. And this brings us to one of the things to be aware of with the dictionary. As I've mentioned, it was written in the 19th century. And so the modern English that's used in it is 19th century modern English. And that means that sometimes a word that you're looking for might not be one that they would have chosen to use when doing their definitions and translations. An example might be cuddle. That's not the sort of words that Mr. Toller or Mr. Bosworth would have used in their dictionaries, but embrace is a word. And so sometimes you might need to be a bit more flexible with the word you're looking up, and even perhaps use a thesaurus to come up with suggestions for other words that have a similar meaning. So I know that dog in this sense means follow. If you dog someone's footsteps, you're following them. So I'm going to put follow in there. I'm going to go back to definition and translation just to get the most options that I possibly can. But I'll leave it set to verb because I know it's a verb, so I've got the verb here. If you're losing track of what filters you've put on, use the reset form and start from scratch. So we've got follow in definitions and translations, and we've ticked verb because we want a verb. Click the search to refresh my results. I've got 50 results, but it's looking more promising. I've got verbs that mean to follow. And as I scroll down, I can see that eventually I'll come to this fulian, which is in capital letters, and the entries that are in capital letters are more significant entries. They've got more information in them. And you can already see here that it's referring back to some of those other spellings of the verb that we've just seen further up the page. So that's quite useful looking for a verb meaning to follow. I'm just going to reset the form and we're going to start again. This time we're going to look for dog, meaning the animal. So I type in dog. Again, I go to the drop down and set definitions and translations to get the best range of words that I can. But this time I know it's a noun that I'm looking for. So I tick noun in the word classes. And you can see again, I get some extra filters at the bottom. I might have an idea that I know it's a masculine noun, but I just can't quite remember how to spell it or exactly how it works. So I could filter that way, or I could exclude it by clicking twice and getting not in the category of masculine, but I'm going to leave it open. Click on search button again to refresh the results, and I get 20 results. And the first one at least is a dog, dodger. But let's see what happens if we narrow it down from definitions and translation to definition only. So we'll change that drop-down option. We've got dog, definition only, and a noun. Click on search again to refresh the results. This time it comes up with hund as the first word in the list. We've only got 14 left now, and hund actually was the word I was trying to think of. I just couldn't quite remember it. But you can see as you go down, we've still got the fire dog, we've got the dog rose, and there's dodger that we had before. So let's just reset the form one last time. Now what I'm wanting to do is write a sentence about a dog barking. And so I'm going to look for the word bark. Type in bark. I select definitions and translations. And I click on search because I'm very confident I can find it. But oh goodness me, 135 results, that's quite a lot. And I can see that the first one is Lochschaft, which doesn't seem to be much about barking to me. So I need to narrow this down. Again, I click on verb in the word class selection to make sure I only get verbs. And now when I click on search to narrow my results down, I've only got 40, but the first verb that comes up is berindan, which means to peel or strip off bark. So we can see here there's more than one meaning to the word bark, and that's another thing that you do have to be very careful about when you're looking words up. Just make sure you've got the right version, which is why keeping that translation option, definition and translation option, is really helpful, because it will show you how the word's being used. So I don't want bark, stripping bark. That's not what I want. Let's use another feature of the advanced search to try and narrow it down, and that's to use this and that's here. So what I want is a verb that means bark and refers to a dog. So I click into there, into the search box. I type in dog. Can't quite see what I'm doing because of this annoying little box that comes up, but just type away. And again, I have to remember to set the head word. I'm setting it to definitions and translations. I still only want to look for a verb, so I'm leaving the tick next to verb. And now when I click search and scroll down, I have one result, berkan, to bark. And I can see in the examples that are being given, I can see that it says dumb dogs cannot bark, dumben hundes ne mogen berkan. And also, very usefully, it has the phrase, sometimes I bark like a dog. Who doesn't want to use that phrase when they're writing things? Now, just finally, the other point to make you aware of is that the and is also a drop-down box, and we can put in or not. So and, these are the three main logical operators for searching. And means it has to have both those things. The definition has to have bark and dog. If you'd put or, you would have got all the words for bark as well as all the words for dog. And if you put not, you would have got all the words relating to bark which do not refer to dog. So have a play with that. I hope that's helpful, and I hope the video overall has been useful. Thank you for watching.